All right, Johnny. Right, okay. So the reason I've gone into so much, so when I used to do the power steering, I described it as having a Tefal head. Do you remember the Tefal advert? And there was a website called Seventh Heaven, and they put Corsa units in kit cars and other vehicle, whatever. And people were laughing at me for putting a potentiometer on it. Well, if you look, put Seventh Heaven Corsa EPS in a Google search, that information should come up, that whatever it was that forum, whatever it was, and it explains that ABS, rev counter, speed, all these sensors are connected to the ECU. When you put it in a donor vehicle, take it from the donor vehicle and put it in the vehicle you want it in, you have a module which tricks the ECU into blah blah. Yeah, so yeah, I do, but I rebuild these boxes. You need to remove the fifth gear cover. You'll find broken springs jamming up the fifth gear synchro hub, they call it. Which, so as you take that cover off, the right hand side gear is what you're looking at. That's on the gear cluster shaft which drives the diff. The left hand side is the lay shaft which goes through the clutch. You don't need to undo that gear. Yeah. Follow. So fifth gear removal will take you to the 2 seconds. Will take you to the how to get it off, and then if you come to synchros, it shows you how, once you've got it, put it in a little quality street tin, pop the other two out. Fifth can only go one way. The teeth on the synchro, so that's first and second. Oh, right, we're rolling. Sorry about that, my camera shut down. So that's first and second, and reverse is the teeth on the outside. So on the fifth gear one, it only has teeth to mate with the gear. The upper side, which faces towards the casing, the teeth are flat because they don't have to engage with it. So get that off. Chances are, if you're a little bit handy, you haven't even got one, just undo the selector fork and pop the outer ring off if you're feeling a little bit brave. But I've got springs, I've got balls, yeah? If you open that up and you find a ball missing, a spring jamming it up, all that sort of thing, and the coating on fifth gear is worn down, you're going to need a rebuilt gearbox. If you buy a second-hand gearbox, how do you know it's going to be any good? Do you see what I mean? So I'm going to add this to your playlist because it's easier. But if you can get that motor driving, and you can get it, so get some if the gear coating's nice and black, don't worry. You know the right oil to use, you know the additive to use, and the gear coating's going under there, blah, blah, blah. If it's worn, send me some pictures and we'll clock the mileage, because it's worn because of the wrong oil. We'll clock the mileage of when you put it back together and the right oil with the MSO2 additive, and we'll see how long before you start crunching. But I sent a gearbox to a lady in Scotland. 2 weeks later, it tested gearbox. 2 weeks later, it was crunching in seconds. I said, if you're ever down here, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, my gearbox man was charging $350 to strip them down, plus whatever gears I was having to give him. And he just was so long with everything that I thought to myself, do you know what I'm going to do? Because I've done motorbike gearboxes when I was a kid. I've done mini gearboxes in my early 20s, or those in Metros. But yeah, so these are a very, very simple gearbox. I didn't know anything about the coating until I spoke to Mike at Number One Gear. And if you watch my gearbox video that I send people when they inquire about gearboxes. The third video is a gearbox which I repaired for a lady, which was taken out. She put a second-hand gearbox, so she took it to the garage. They took the sump plugs out, clutch job, took the plugs, sump out, filings on the magnets. You need another gearbox. So she got another gearbox, had it put in, was crunching. So hers wasn't crunching, and if they'd have put the and the gearbox, did they put the wrong gearbox in the oil? Wrong oil in the gearbox? What they fitted for? Yeah, you know, it's just endless. But yeah. If you want a list of my prices, well, I'll tell you now. I charge $350 plus synchros plus any worn gears. So if it's a case of coatings, it'll be a refurbished box. It'll be £1,000. And I said to you before, the chances of you finding a 1.9, especially the turbo diesel. I've got two 1.9s here. One's a turbo diesel box and one's non-turbo. But like I say, I haven't took apart the non-turbo because I want to keep all them gears and just check the ratios are not. I know the fifth gear ratio is different. But anyway, I'm going to stop waffling on. Get the fifth gear cover off. Find the broken springs. Email blackbombcampers@gmail.com. I'll send you some. And some balls if you need balls. Well, you probably lost your balls. But yeah. And the other one is gearbox dipstick. Okay. So that shows you where your drain points are, where your filling point is. Gearbox oil change. I've covered it. But yeah, just make sure you drop both of them. And you're going to get some oil out of the fifth gear cover because it's leaning that way. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, I'll stop waffling. Cheers and bye.